My name is James Cleveland Owens. I was born on September 12, 1913 in Oakville, Alabama. My two parents are Henry and Emma Owens. At age 14, I attended Fairmont Junior High School. And, it's where I began my athletic career with my coach mentor Charles Wylie, while at the Big Ten Championships in Ann Arbor on May 25th, 1935. I set 3 world records. I tied a 4th in a span of about 45 minutes. Also in 1935, I married Minnie Ruth Solomon, and we had 3 daughters, Gloria, Beverly, and Marlene. I qualified for the 1936 Olympics in Germany, and I became the first American track and field athlete to win 4 gold medals. In 1950, I was named the greatest athlete of the past 50 years. In 1976, I was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I died on March 31st, 1980, at the age of 66.
I am Barry Sanders. I was born on July 16, 1968, and I'm currently 55 years old in Colorado, Michigan. Colorado. I went to Oklahoma University, and I am 5'8" and weigh 203 pounds. I played 10 seasons in the NFL with the Detroit Lions, and I went to the Pro Bowl 10 times, including my rookie year. I ran a 4.37 yard dash in the NFL combine draft. And as I turned to running back for the Detroit Lions, I retired at the age of 31 away from Detroit Lions. Everybody had a theory that I went missing, and I had a theory that I went missing, and I got back from it. Everybody still trying to figure out the theory. Did I go missing? And thank you.
Hello, I'm Bessie Coleman, and I was born in Atlanta, Texas, 1892. My mother is Susan Coleman, and my dad is George Coleman. My mom was an African-American maid, and my dad was a sharecropper of the mixed Native American. My dad went to Oklahoma to go to the discrimination. By the time I was 18 years old, I helped my mom pick cotton and wash laundry to earn extra money. I went to Langston University, and I went to Birmingham School of the Beauty Culture in 1915. My brother John teased me because French women were allowed to learn how to fly airplanes, and in the United States, I could not. My dad left me when I was 9 years old, so I had to drop out of college for 1 semester because my mom couldn't afford tuition anymore. My brother's stories inspired me to become a pilot, and I applied to many flight schools across the country, but no school would take me because I was both African American and I was a woman. Since my application to flight schools needed to be written in French, I began taking French classes at nighttime. I finally got my international pilot license on June 15, 1921. I survived my first major airplane accident in February 1923. My engine stopped working and I had a broken leg cracked ribs, and cuts on my face. I was not wearing a seatbelt at the time, and I did not have a roof. My funeral was in Chicago. I healed. This did not stop me from flying. I went back to doing dangerous air tricks in 1925. A famous newspaper told me to move to France to get my international pilot's license. I died at 34. My legends continue to inspire communities all over the world, and I hope you like my project. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Benjamin Mays. I was born on August 1st and raised on and born at South Carolina 96th Street. I was raised on a repurposed cotton plantation, and it was the youngest out of my 8 siblings. My sister Susie taught me to read before beginning primary school, teaching me how to read and write. And I was 1 year ahead of my grade. I then went to Bates High School and became an educator, and I was one of the 3 African American people to graduate from Bates. I then got an opportunity to go to Morehouse College and become the president of Morehouse. I then became an educator for 9 years at Morehouse. I gained important relationships at Morehouse, but most likely the most important relationship was with MLK. I gained 65 honor awards. I gained 65 honor awards for international and national organizations for all my work. People honor my death by coming to my birthplace at the plantation I was born at. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Charles Fitzgerald. I was born in 1904 into a middle-class family in Washington, D.C. My father, Richard, was a carpet layer, and my mother, Nora Burrow, was trained to be a teacher. I have 4 siblings, 3 sisters and 1 brother. At a young age, I was a newspaper boy. I delivered many newspapers throughout the neighborhood. I attended Dunbar High School for its equality, despite the racial climate at the time. I attended Amherst College off of a scholarship to play track and football. Once college was over, I was a chemistry and biology teacher. To pay for medical school, I went to Morgan College as a football coach. Once I paid for medical school, I went to McGill University in Montreal, Canada. I worked with John Beadle here, who was researching shock therapy and blood transfusion. Once I did this, I graduated at McGill University in 1933. My first appointment as a faculty instructor was for pathology at Howard University. I did this in 1935 to 36. Once I did this, I joined Freedman's Hospital as an assistant surgeon. In 1938, I began graduate work at Columbia University. I researched at Columbia's Presbyterian. There, I learned that blood plasma can be reserved. This thesis earned my doctorate of science and medical degree. My work led me to becoming the first Red Cross blood bank director. I later invented bloodmobiles, which was mobile blood donation stations that refrigerate and collect blood. This helped the U.S. Navy and the Army. I had many more successful years of doing this before my death in 1945. I died because of a car accident, and I wasn't accepted into an all-white hospital. I later died because of blood loss. The end.
Hello, I'm Colin Kaepernick. I was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, to 2 parents that put me up for adoption. I was adopted by Rick and Tessa Kaepernick, and at 4 years old, we moved to Turlock, California. By 8 years old, I just started playing football, and by 9, I did my first long touchdown pass that really started my career in football. In high school, I played 3 different sports: baseball, basketball, and football. And I received all-state nominations and selections in all of them. But I decided to play football in my college career, moving on to football. played really well in college, which earned me a spot to be drafted in the second round as the 36th pick by the San Francisco 49ers. I took over from Alex Smith in the 10th week when he was injured and led my team to the NFC Conference Championship and won and went to the Super Bowl and lost, which is nicknamed the Blackout Super Bowl. The next season, I led them to the NFC Conference Championship, and those next 3 seasons, I had subpar performances. The 2016 season, during the 3rd week in the preseason, I decided to kneel down to stand up for treatment of African Americans. And I kneeled down for the whole season, which I received backlash from people. The most notable person I received backlash from is Donald Trump. But I also received congratulations for what I did, most notably Barack Obama. I stood up for the treatment of black people all across the world, United States, and everywhere by camps, speeches, quotes, and doing everything I can in my power to help the treatment. By the time I die, I hope that this will help the treatment and possibly move forward the movement of treatment for better.
My name is Frizzly. I was born in West Africa, 1753. Then kidnapped when I was 7 or 8. While I was on the ship, I was named after the ship when I was getting shipped to America. While I was in slavery, I got taught to read and write. Then I got an idea to write a book of poetry. Then became the first African American woman to publish a book of poetry. I was free shortly after my book was published. Facts about me is that my work was influenced by the Bible, classical literature, and contemporary poets. One of my quotes is, every human being God has implanted a principle which calls love of freedom. It is an impatient of oppression and pants of deliverance. I'm done.
My name is Janet Collins. I was born on March 7, 1917. I died on May 28, 2003 in Fort Worth, Texas. I grew up in Los Angeles. My mother was a seamstress and my father was a tailor. I also have a cousin named Carmen de la Vida. I love her so much. She is my younger cousin. Ever since I was 10, I loved to dance. But because of how hard I work, I broke the color line with the Metropolitan Opera. I was the first African-American ballet dancer to be a choreographer and a teacher. I also got to perform on Broadway. To go on, I played in many movies, such as Carmen 1952, Admiral Broadway Revue 1949, also Flamingo 1942. To end it off, I'm the first African-American woman to be a prima ballerina.
Hi, my name is Fritz Pollard. I was born January 27, 1894 and died on May 11, 1986 due to a short illness. I was the 7th out of 8 kids. My mom's name was Amanda Hughes and my dad's name was John W. He's a professional boxer and a barber. When I went to high school, I went to Lane Tech where I played football, baseball, and ran track. In my college years, I went to Brown's University and majored in chemistry. I also played football there. Besides football, I own 2 coal companies in Harlem and in Chicago. I operated a movie theater. I published weekly papers in New York, and I founded the first African-American investment company and operated a booking agency. When I died, I went into the Hall of Fame with 3 other people in 2005. Dan Moreno, Steve Young, and Benny Friedman. With my wife, Austin Ella Austin, we had 4 kids: Fritz Pollard Jr., Gwendolyn Burrow, Eleanor Pollard Towns, and Leslie Keeling. My son, Fritz Pollard Jr., was also an athlete. He ran 110-meter hurdles and won a bronze medal in the 1936 Olympics.
Hello, my name is Muddy Waters. I was born in 1913 in Issaquah County, Mississippi. I learned how to play the harmonica and the guitar at age 17. I was raised by my grandmother. Her name was Della Gray. In 1943, I moved from the South to Chicago. My greatest skills were playing the guitar and singing blues. My greatest accomplishments were being in the inaugural class of the Blues Hall of Fame and being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987. My passion wasn't playing guitar, it was playing the harp. My legacy inspired icons like Rolling Stones and Eric Clapton. I didn't receive any education. Everything I knew was self-taught. I drew inspiration from Son House, Robert Johnson, and Bill Brunzi. My biggest hits were She Moves Me, I Want You to Love Me, and Standing Around Crying. I died due to a heart attack in my sleep at age 70 on April 30th, 1983. I was buried at Restvale Cemetery.
Hello, my name is Harold Nicholas. I'm the youngest Nicholas brother. I have one older brother named Fayard Antonio Nicholas. I was born March 27, 1921. My older brother Fayard Nicholas was born October 27, 1914. I passed away July 3rd, 2000. My older brother Fayard Nicholas passed January 24, 2006. We are known for our amazing tap and dancing skills. I copied my brother. He was a natural dancer, a graceful singer, and an amazing peacemaker. People always ask, did we study ballet? But we never did. We sold out almost every show for $5 million. For $5 million. I have over 5 awards, and I have 2 wives. My first wife was Elaine, and my second wife was Dorothy Dandridge. My first wife, I had a daughter with her named Harold Nicholas. Then came along my second wife, I had a son with her named Malay. First, I found out my first daughter, Harold Nicholas, she had brain damage at birth. Then about a couple of months after, we found out we had a rare heart disease. Sadly soon my career was ended July 3rd, 2000. After my death, about 6 years later, my older brother Fayard Nicholas passed away January 24th, 2006. Did you know the Nicholas brothers are one of the most famous duos, and they had the best tap dancing at a young age? My brother Fayard started tap dancing at 9, and I started at 8. Once we got older, we started the group called the Nicholas Kids. First, it was my brother and my sister. It was my brother and my sister, Dorothy Nicholas Moreau. Then, when my sister left the group, we became the Nicholas Brothers. My older brother Fayard taught me all of the things. We had two educated parents named Julius and Viola. They were famous for their band group. We had a family full of musicians and well-educated folk. Both of our parents were college-educated and famous musicians. My dad, Julius, was a drummer, and my mother, Viola, was a singer. They had a band group, and they would sell out almost every show. We always had a speech at the end of our show. And did you know if you were a black tap dancer, you would experience prejudice activity? If it wasn't a real horrible thing for us, we went through it. We noticed it mostly in the South and in Las Vegas, where we couldn't stay in the hotels where we entertained, but that began to change.
Hello, I am Garrett Morgan. I am one of the greatest black inventors of my time. But enough of that. Let's get into my early childhood now. In my earlier years, I was raised with my 2 brothers and 2 sisters. They were unnamed. I did not have passed an elementary school education, but that did not stop my desire and creativity for invention at all. When I was a young boy, I liked tinkering with things around the home, such as fixing toys or building things. In my later years, I met my first wife, Madge Nelson. While I was married to Madge, I had 2 children, Cosmo and John. While I was married to my second wife, I made the zigzag attachment for the sewing machine. After I divorced my second wife due to unknown reasons, it did not stop my fuel for creativity, invention, my fault. All right, I'm messing up. I eventually made what would be known as the predecessor to the gas mask, which I called the safety hood. The safety hood was the gas mask before the gas mask. Due to the pervasive racial specter of the time, I had to hire a white man to present my project to an audience. But eventually, they found out it was a black man that created it. Due to the fact when I was driving, I heard on the radio that a group of workers were trapped in a tunnel. And in an act to save them, I drove to the tunnel with the prototype, which had not yet been released for the safety hood, and saved those men. It had then came out that I was the inventor of the safety hood. I faced a lot of racial discrimination due to the fact I was a black man and I was an inventor. But that did not stop me from inventing new things. But something did temporarily stop me from inventing. My second wife, Ann Hassig. When I married her, my fuel for creativity and invention did not stop. But I did settle down temporarily. While I did still make things, one of the things I made while I was married to Ann, before I started rebuilding projects, was the predecessor to the current day hair cream you use right now. It was the predecessor to things like locking gel, straightening cream, and other hair products. After I made that, I had my third child, Garrett Jr. Due to the various difficulties with traffic in the world, I felt that Garrett was not safe on the streets, and that everyday problems such as car crashes and traffic jams were unnecessary. So, to mitigate or stop these problems, I created the prototype to the traffic light, which is still in use today. But sadly, I did not get to see it due to the fact in 1963, I passed away at the age of 86 due to complications with the safety hood. While the safety hood was meant to protect me from the noxious gases, which it did, it was still in prototype, and some of the noxious gases still seep through. It is a miracle that I lived to my old age, even with those conditions from that. Any questions?
You did an excellent job.
Thank you. You want this?
All right. Hi, my name is Matthew Henson. I was born on August 8, 1866. I was raised in Nanjamoy, Maryland. My parents were Lemuel Henson and Caroline Henson. My parents were sharecroppers, so I was born into segregation. My mom and dad died when I was only 7 years old. So my uncle took care of me, and I had to go live at his house in Washington, D.C. My uncle paid for a few years of my education, but he soon died. At the age of 12, At the age of 12, I was working as a cabin boy on the ship. The ship's leader taught me how to read, write, and navigate. Later while working as a clerk in the Washington, D.C. hat shop, I met the commander, Robert E. Perry. Robert Perry hired me on an expedition because he heard about my navigation skills. Me and Robert Perry have been searching for the North Pole for the past 18 years until on April 6, 1909, I was the first African American man to reach the North Pole. I faced a lot of obstacles during my expedition, like ice flows, snowstorms, and frostbite. In 1912, I was accepted into the Explorers Club, and I was invited to the White House. In 1944, I received an award, the Perry Expedition Medal. I died on March 9, 1955, at the age of 88. My legacy as the first black man to reach the North Pole will live on forever.
My name is Frederick Douglass Fritz Pollard, but people know me as Fritz Pollard. I was born on January 27, 1894 in Chicago, Illinois. I was 7 out of 8 children, born to John and Catherine Pollard. My family was the first African-American family to settle in Roger Park. Moved from Missouri to Chicago in order to give their 8 children a better life and opportunity. My parents were entrepreneurs. My father was a barber and my mother was a seamstress. I embraced the opportunities through hard work. In the time I graduated from Lynn Technical High School, and I had became a talented running back, baseball player, and 3-time country champion. I received a Rockefeller scholarship to attend Brown University. While attending Brown University, I was a freshman. I stood 5'9", 165 pounds, halfback. I led my team to the Rose Bowl. I was the first African American to ever play in the Rose Bowl. I set a world record for Brown's University track team and qualified for the Olympics team. I accomplished many goals during my college career. In 1918, I dropped out of school because of ineligible to play for the Browns team because of academy neglect. After college, I became coach of Lincoln University in Pennsylvania until 1920. In 1919, I joined Arkansas Pros, which in 1920 joined the American Professional Football Association, later known as National Football League. The team went undefeated during the first season. I was known to coach up to 4 different teams in a single season. I also continued to play 1923 through 1924 season for Independence Pro Team called the Cola League. By 1928, I organized a season for the professional all-African American team in Chicago in Chicago Blackhawk. We were very popular until 1932. In 1914, I got married to Ada Ling. As soon after, we had a baby boy we named him Frederick Douglass Pollard Jr. We also had 3 beautiful daughters. We divorced in 1940. Then I remarried in 1947 to Mary L. Austin. Here's some references where I got all this stuff from. Wikipedia, Google. Here's some pictures. Here's 4 questions I would ask him. Are you related to Frederick Douglass? How did it feel to be in the Rose Bowl? How was the uniforms back then? How did it feel to be in the first? How did it feel to be the first halfback? Here's some like football stuff about his football history and stuff. A quote he had: "Football isn't a game; it's a religion." Here's some awards. Yeah, he entered the Hall of Fame in 2005. And yeah, that's all about my person.
Hi, I'm Anderson. I was born on February 27, 1897. Unfortunately, I died on April 8, 1993. I was a beacon of hope and a first figure to my people. I was the older child of John Barkley and Anna Delphi. My father would later receive a great hair injury and died at the age 37 of heart failure. No information on how my mother died or on her sister. I would later perform and sing at Lincoln Memorial. Over 75,000 people would come listen to me sing and millions more over the radio. Later on, I would graduate from Philadelphia High and apply to all white music schools. Later on, my future Harvard Orpheus were proposed to me. I would politely decline, afraid it might affect my music career. Later on, I would become the second wife to Orpheus King Fisher. My husband unfortunately died after doing drugs behind my back. Unfortunately, we did not come to have any children, and I will unfortunately later die at the ripe old age of 96 of heart failure. We unfortunately did not come to have any kids. Hopefully my sister carried on this beautiful bloodline. And here are some facts and many awards and honors that she won. She won 13 awards and honors altogether. This is a picture of her husband, a picture of her when she was younger, and here's a painting of her, and a video of her singing at Lincoln's Memorial Concert. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Arthur Ashe. I was born in Richmond, Virginia, July 10th, 1943, heir of two sons, Arthur Robertson Ashe, Mental Cordell Cunningham Ashe. My mother died before I was 7, but not before teaching me to read at an early age. Small in stature, I took to tennis from the age of 4, mostly thanks to my father's job as a caretaker. At Brookfield, one of the only Richmond's black-only playgrounds. I graduated first in my class, Summer High School, in 1961 and accepted a tennis scholarship to the University of California, Los Angeles. I was known as Citizen Ashe because of my activism and tennis success. He died February 6, 1993 at New York Hospital at 3:13 p.m. At the age of 49, his funeral was held at the Arthur Ashe Athletic Center in Richmond, Virginia on February 10th. Accomplishments. I was the first African American to win the NCAA single title for the UCLA in 1975. And my professional career featured 33 titles, including 1968 U.S. Open, the 1970 Australian, and 1975 Wimbledon. My legacy. I was the first black player to be selected the U.S. Davis Cup team and the first black man to win the USA Open, Wimbledon, and the Australian Open singles titles. And I was also the first black man to be ranked #1 in the world.
Hi, my name is Amanda Gorman. I was born March 7, 1998 in Los Angeles, California. I'm 25 years old currently. I love poetry. I wrote poetry when I needed it in tough times. I suffer from an auditory process disorder where I can't pronounce certain letters such as R, S, and H, and other letters. I plan to become president in 2036. My mother raised me and my twin sister as a single mother. My mom is Joanne Wixon, and my twin sister Gabriella, who is an activist and filmmaker. I am an American poet and activist. I read a speech called The Hill We Climb at the inauguration when Joe Biden was and still is currently president. It went viral. Everybody loved that poem/speech. As a kid, I started writing poetry to help my speech because my auditory processing disorder gave me a hard time pronouncing certain words such as R, S, and H again. In 2036, I plan to become president. In one of my speeches, I said, quote unquote, and so it became this ambition where for me it means that hopes that I have for making the world a better place. I have to think more expensively beyond poetry. It's not just writing, it's doing the right thing as well. I said, I went to school at New Rose in Santa Monica is a private school. I went there for grades K through 12. I lived in Los Angeles, California. I grew up in an environment where there were limited television access. I wrote poetry to help my speech disorder, and as a kid, I wrote poetry to help my speech disorder, and it also helped me bring out my voice and helped me also speak my mind. I received the Milken Family College Foundation, and I studied sociology at Harvard College, graduating with honors in 2020. As a member of the Phi Beta Kappa, significantly, I was the inaugural poet because I was the youngest poet in the country's known history. Some people did not get this out of my message, but my main goal was to call for unity, collaboration, and togetherness. As an American, as among American people, and empathize the opportunity that the future holds. The hill we climb was widely praised for his message, praise and delivery. I am the youngest inaugural poet in the country in U.S. known history. A cum laude graduate of Harvard University, where I think I will be a big change in the world history as an African-American woman president. Thank you and have a great day.
Good morning. My name is Kamala Harris. I made history as the first woman and the first African-American to serve as Vice President of the United States. I was born October 20th, 1964 in Oakland, California. My mother, Shyamala Gopalan, immigrated from India and became a breast cancer researcher. My father, Donald Harris, came to the U.S. from Jamaica and became an economics professor at Stanford University. In 1967, my parents had my sister, Maya Harris, then got divorced in 1971 when I was only 7 years old. After my parents' divorce, my mother moved me and my sister to Montreal when I was 12 years old. In Montreal, my sister and I organized a successful protest against the owner of our apartment building because they wouldn't let children play on the building's lawn. Then in 1978, I attended Westmount High School. During my high school years, I dreamed of becoming a lawyer. I worked day and night to make this dream possible. After I graduated in 1981, I returned to the U.S. and attended Howard University in Washington, D.C., where I earned my BA in political science and economics. After earning my BA, I went back to California, where I attended the University of California Hassan College of Law. There I earned my JD in 1989. This is when my career in law was coming to a start. My legal career finally began in 1990 when I became deputy district in Alameda County, California. At my job, I was so good they described me as an able prosecutor on the way up. In 2010, I became the first South Asian American woman to become Attorney General of California, beating Steve Cooley in the race. I created an online website called Open Justice as Attorney General. This platform was created to make criminal justice data available to the public at large. This data helped improve police accountability. On August 22, 2014, I got married to Douglas Imhoff, who was the father to Cole and M. Imhoff. When I married Imhoff, I became the kid's stepmother. Cole and Ella refer to me as Mamala to rhyme with my name, Kamala. In January 2019, I tried running for president. I put up a great debate with Joe Biden. My high point in my debate was when I confronted Biden over his opposition to cross-district busing in the 1970s. Immediately, the clips of my debate became a viral sensation, but unfortunately, I was not getting enough poll numbers. Eventually, I had to shut down my campaign in December of 2019. After the campaign was over, Biden became president. He stated that he was proud of the amazing work I was doing then and the amazing work I'm doing now. So when Biden became president, he chose me to be his vice president of the United States, making me the first African American and the first woman to become vice president. Thank you for listening.
Hi, my name is Alice Coachman. I was born on November 9th in 1923. My parents were Fred Coachman and Evelyn Coachman. I was the fifth out of 10 children. My daily routine consisted of going to school and supplementing my family's income by picking cotton and supplying corn to sell. My parents did not want me to pursue athletics. My father would often whip me for pursuing athletics. I attended Monroe Street throughout elementary and high school. While competing for my high school's track team, I caught the attention of the Tuskegee Institute. In 1943, I transferred to the Tuskegee Institute during my sophomore year and completed high school there. Later, I entered the Tuskegee Institute. I I entered the Tuskegee Institute College Division to study dressmaking while continuing to compete for my school's track and field and basketball team. I won 4 national championships for sprinting and high jump. I was one of the best track and field competitors in the country, winning national titles like the 50 millimeter, 100 millimeter, and 400 millimeter relay races. High jump was my event from 1939 through 1948. I won the American title annually. While competing with a back injury, it destroyed the existing U.S. high jump. After I retired in 1940, I married Edina Davis and had 2 children, a daughter and a son. Shortly after, I divorced Edina Davis and married Frank Davis, who sadly passed away. After, I raised my family and became a teacher. In 1925, Coca-Cola hired me to be a spokesperson. I was the first African-American woman to get an Olympic gold medal. Even though my parents did not support my athletic interests, my 5th grade teacher encouraged me to continue running. On July 14, 2014, I sadly passed away at the age of 90 from cardiac arrest. And this is my medal.
Hello, my name is Earl Francis Lloyd. I was born April 3rd, 1928. I died February 26, 2015. I was born and raised in Alexander, Virginia. I was raised by both of my parents. My father's name is Theodore Benjamin Lloyd, and my mother's name is Daisy Mitchell Lloyd. And I was a good student at Lyons Couch Elementary, and was an outstanding athlete at Lyons Couch Elementary. I was the first African American to play in the NBA. I was married in 1981. I was married in 1981. I had 3 sons, and I was a fast forward. I used to dunk a lot, and shoot was like 2-pointers. I hardly ever do 3s. I was a defensive specialist. I was a defensive specialist. I was accepted into the Hall of Fame, the National Basketball Hall of Fame. I've got into West Virginia University on a full ride scholarship. I played basketball there for 4 years until I got drafted into the NBA. I got drafted into the Detroit Pistons in 1960 and played until 1962. And then I got drafted into 2 different teams, but they were discontinued. Washington Capitals, and the other one is not I don't know what to say. I graduated at Crowsley High School and I was introduced into the National Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in 2003. I rejoined the Pistons in 1960 to 1970 until 1970 as the first African American assistant coach, and from 1971 to 1972 I became the second
African American head coach in the league.
Hello, my name is Sadie Tanner. I was born January 2nd of 1889. I'm the youngest of two, Aaron Albert Moselle III and Elizabeth Moselle. My brother was a pharmacist, and my sister was a dean of women at Virginia State College. During my elementary and middle school, I didn't really have a good education because I was being bounced back and forth from Washington and Philadelphia. When I was in high school, my mother kept me in Washington, and that's where I attended M Street High School. M Street High School, I was taught by Booker T. Washington and other civil rights activists. Okay, yeah. I graduated from M Street High School in 1915. After that, I attended School of Education for my sophomore and freshman year. My freshman year was a little bit difficult because I was experiencing racism and discrimination from my white classmates, faculty, and staff members, which caused me to question my ability. I graduated from School of Education in 1918, and in 1921, I earned my PhD. I got married to Raymond Pace November 29th, 1923, where we had 4 premature children, but sadly only 2 survived. We named them Mary Elizabeth Alexander and Ray Pace Alexander. I died November 1st, 1989, due to Alzheimer's and pneumonia.
Wagan, my name is Bob Marley. I was born February 6, 1945. I'm a Jamaican reggae singer, guitarist, and songwriter. I was considered one of the pioneers of the genre reggae and ska. When I was 14, I dropped out of high school and I pursued music, and I created a group called the Wailers. Our most famous songs are Jammin', Stir It Up, and You Could Be Loved. I died from melanoma, and I got it when I was playing soccer, and a player stepped on my big toe. And my toe was infected, and when it was infected, I got melanoma, skin cancer, all over, in my brain and my heart and all over. And the doctors only said I had 3 weeks to live, and I died holding my son's hand.